I am half Bosnian, half Jordanian, and for today I'm gonna represent one of my countries, Bosnia and Herzegovina, with geography. Now, let's see what an American has to say about my country.
Belgium was confusing? Brother, please, if you want complication fanatics, come to Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Literally spoken like a wise man. Literally the first sentence. It's so true. I agree. This is accurate. 100%.
It's time to learn geography now!
Hey everybody, I'm your host Paul Barbato. If you're ever on a game show and there's $1 million question, chances are this country will be on that $1 million question. So pay attention, you might win some money.
It's not a joke, it's real.
Bosnia and Herzegovina have what seems like a very simple flag, but there's a lot hidden underneath it. First of all, the flag has a blue field with a yellow triangle and 7 full stars and 2 half stars at the top and bottom of the hypotenuse of the triangle. The triangle represents the 3 constituent peoples of Bosnia and Herzegovina, the Bosnians, Serbs, and Croats. It also respectively represents the map of Bosnia, which kind of looks like a
True! I didn't know that!
triangle. The stars represent Europe and are meant to go on forever, hence the half stars.
Literally us begging to enter European Union, putting those stars on our flag. Please, please. Look, we even have stars on our flags. We even have blue colors in our flags. Like, all we want to do is be a part of the European Union. Why is it so hard?
Some say the flag was even partially adapted from the
hard.
European Union flag. The colors white and blue and yellow are traditionally seen as colors representing peace. Now let's find out how peaceful this country is, shall we?
So peaceful.
Remember Belgium and how confusing that whole Flanders, Wallonia thing was? Well, get ready because we're going to conquer one place with 2 regions, 2 entities, and a weird third semi-rogue autonomous region district. Just fair warning, you might have a seizure trying to understand all of this stuff, so if your brain's not that strong,
I can't even explain it, you guys. I can simplify it for you, but I can't explain
just
it.
Fast forward to the physical geography part, and we'll have some nice, pretty pictures for you to look at. First of all, Bosnia and Herzegovina is located in that lovely area of mass confusion in South Europe known as the Balkans, located to the south of Croatia, west of Serbia, and north of Montenegro. You would think that Bosnia and Herzegovina is landlocked, but if you look very close, you'll notice they have the smallest
Don't worry. Croatians Croatians left us a teeny tiny part of sea, after the war. So we have some beach that is like 5 meters long.
Panhandle that touches the Adriatic Sea for only about 25 kilometers or about 15 miles. Now, here's where things get tricky. When you hear the name Bosnia and Herzegovina,
they didn't even give us that tiny piece there. Did you see that?
You would think it kind of sounds like 2 separate nationalistic entities, kind of like the UK or the United Arab Emirates, but that's not really the case. So first of all, what exactly is Bosnia and what exactly is Herzegovina? Well, in the shortest, simplest way I can put it, they're just regions. Although the borders are vague and not clearly defined, Bosnia is generally located in this area and Herzegovina is generally located in the south in this area. Culturally, the people of Bosnia are the same as the people in Herzegovina, except they're
This is where I lived here. This part. Not this part. This part.
there are more ethnic Croats living in the south by Herzegovina, especially on the border of Croatia. The only reason why it's separate is because some guy in the 1400s created his own country. He had the title of Herzog, which is where the name Herzegovina comes from. But other than that, it's just the same country. Now, here's where things do get divided, though. Bosnia and Herzegovina is kind of divided into 2 separate entities, each one with about half the land of the country that serve the 3 different people groups known as the constituent peoples, a unique term that only applies to Bosnia and Herzegovina. We'll explain more about this in the demographics. Essentially, Bosnia and Herzegovina is divided into the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Oh, this is Star Wars now time, all right? We have a federation and a republic. All right, it's literally like the best way to explain this is through Star Wars. You know, Federation, Republic. There you go, you got it.
And the Republika Srpska. I know it looks like it's pronounced Srpska. It's pronounced Srpska. Triple dipthongs are an amazing linguistic phenomena. Most of the ethnic Serbs live in the Republika Srpska, and each side has its own capital. Sarajevo for the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Banja Luka for the Republic of Srpska. However, Sarajevo acts as the national capital for the entire country as well. Furthermore, the Republika Srpska is split into 2 regions, and then they are both divided into cantons, or counties, and municipalities. 10 for the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina.
10 cantons for Federation and 7 for the Republic. I come from the Tuzla canton, Tuzlanski canton.
7 for the Republic of Srpska. Keep in mind, Bosnia and Herzegovina has 2 small municipal exclaves on the Sava River on the border of Croatia, known as the Posavina Canton County. These belong to the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina and make the smallest cantons. Then you have the weird Brčko district. I know, it looks like Brčko. It's pronounced Brčko. That was a quadruple diphthong. Gotta love these Slavic words. This place is kind of seen as like a neutral ground and kind of belongs to both entities, and it kind of governs...
Neutral? I would not really say that. I don't think I'm very welcome in Brčko as
itself. All of this was done to kind of
Bosniak.
alleviate the demographical tensions in the country after the Yugoslav wars in the 90s. However, the strategy behind it has always been kind of shaky in its foundations.
Yeah.
Speaking of war, this place has a lot of lingering reminders of its brutal past. Like in Sarajevo, there's a tunnel museum and the
Oh, I went to that museum.
Sarajevo roses, which are mortar blasts.
Yes, this is fact. If you walk through not only Sarajevo, also in Tuzla or any other city where it was bombed, everywhere where there is a bomb that fell down, they have this red marks representing that that's the spot where the bomb fell and people died. So if you're walking down the street and you see that, you know that that was where the bomb in 1990 fell.
In the sidewalk that were filled up with pink concrete. They do have a little small sense of humor, though. They made an ironic iCar canned beef monument dedicated to the longest airlift raid attempt in history for nearly 3 years, in which humanitarian airlifts from all over Europe, and especially in the UK, would drop off food supplies that were often expired leftovers from previous wars.
Dude, imagine. Help. Expired food.
That nobody wanted to eat. Many times the food contained pork that many of the Muslims in the country had to abstain from eating, so it was useless.
Like you're like literally shitting on the religion. Like, pork! If you're starving, you're gonna eat it.
To them. It was literally the world's most sarcastic monument ever. Now, if you thought Bosnia and Herzegovina was pretty quirky with their land borders, then you'll notice that the actual land has a lot more tricks and gimmicks. First of all, the country is mostly mountainous or hilly, as it lies on the Dinaric Alps in the Balkan Peninsula with flatter lands.
And it's such a cheap country that you don't have a lot of, you don't have a lot of, not caves, what are they called? Oh my God, tunnels. You don't have a lot of tunnels. So if you want to go from Tuzla to Sarajevo, that is usually 1 hour with a car. It takes you 2.5 hours because you have to go through all these mountains. And like the whole time we're driving like this and vomiting. So yeah.
In the northeast by the Pannonian Basin.
Because they don't have enough tunnels.
About half the country is forested and about 30% of the land is arable, mostly in
and
the
they're not
northeast
Switzerland.
regions, whereas the south, mostly in Herzegovina, is more rocky and dry than the rest of the country. Now, this is where things get a little interesting. Yes, the country does have a lot of potential arable land, but the problem is, due to its war past, the country still has about 200,000 landmines.
Literally, you guys, I have so many forests around me and I can't even walk there because I have so many danger signs. Skeleton signs with literal cross saying you can't walk here because it's not clear from mines. So many times animals step on these mines and die. You just hear, you're driving and you hear boom, explosion. You're like, oh yeah, that's a mine. Literally, bro. Literally.
They have to clear from the ground. But I mean, hey, that's only like 1/3 of the amount from Albania, remember? Woohoo! Slightly less danger. Then, in the Republika Srpska, you can find the last jungle or primeval forest in southern Europe. The Perućica forest, which is
you can't probably not, you can't even go through because it's mines.
Accessible to explore in the company of rangers. The world's tallest Norwegian spruce tree can be found here, and many captivating waterfalls and ancient trees that take you back years in the past. Now, here's the funny thing. Many people in Bosnia around Sarajevo will tell you that they're pretty certain that the country has the world's largest man-made ancient pyramid.
Emotional, damn it!
Listen, you guys, okay? I never went there. I never saw the pyramid, so I cannot really tell you for sure it is a pyramid. UNESCO said it's not a pyramid. They came, they checked, they packed their stuff. They said, nah, man, not a pyramid. We ain't paying for this clearing. They left. And now you have people who are in that town literally working on clearing a whole mountain because they believe 100% it's a pyramid. And not only that, you guys, there are signs, there are pictures that shows that there is something man-made below that mountain. So I am sussy. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I would have to go and see myself, and it will take years and years for them to actually clear any monumental space for us to know that it's a pyramid.
Located near the town of Bisoko, the hills in the region
If you look at
seem to have
it, you look at the shape. It's the shape of a pyramid.
Almost perfect geometric shape that creepishly resembles a pyramid with almost equal sides and angles. Modern archaeologists are skeptical, but if you look at the pictures from above, I mean, it does kind of look like a pyramid. I don't know, you be the judge. Also, thanks to its mountainous terrain, Bosnia and Herzegovina was selected and hosted the 1984 Winter Olympics in Sarajevo.
You have no idea how sad it is now.
However, since then...
Oh yeah, there you go. If you go and visit the Mountain Olympics place in Sarajevo, it's destroyed from war, and they left it like that. It is so sad.
The entire area, including the bobsledding trail, is all but completely abandoned and tagged with graffiti. It's actually kind of a popular tourist spot these days. Bosnia and Herzegovina just doesn't stop when it comes to the strange atmosphere, but the people here are even more complex.
Oh no, not the people. Here we go.
Here's the rule with Bosnia and Herzegovina. You always have to constantly think in threes. Never refer to everybody in the country as just Bosnians. Half of everybody will get super mad at you. First of all, the country has about 4 million people, about 48% of whom are Bosnians, 33% Serbs, and 15% Croats, with the remaining 4% from other nations. The three main people groups of this country are pretty much what make it function in such a weird way. Now, here's the funny thing. Bosnians, Croatians, Serbians, and even Montenegrins can all pretty much understand each other with their languages.
We speak
their
almost it's a Balkan language. Slavic-based
dialect with a few
just
differential
a bit different,
nuances.
yeah.
The only difference is that typically Serbian is written with the Cyrillic alphabet.
And Serbs will definitely, this is the thing, in Republic of Serbia, you will not see a lot of the Bosnian flag. You will see a lot of the Serbian flag because they like to represent more Serbia, and they want to belong more to Serbia than to Bosnia. And all their signs are in Cyrillica, which is this not Latin based, it's the other Cyrillic based writing. So if I am writing like this and learning in school like this, I had to even learn their language in order to go through the roads to understand what it said there, because they use a different language. They use Serbian language.
Nuances. The only difference is that typically
Bosnia and Herzegovina, like these ones, you know, it's totally different. It is this, like, it means the same when you read it and everything, but it's written different. The pronunciation is the same as in Latin. You know what I mean?
Alphabet, and Bosnian and Croatian is written with a Latin-based alphabet. However, they will fiercely tell you that the languages are separate and distinct languages. Croatian,
like you have, for example, a translation of a book into Bosnian, Croatian, and Serbian, and you basically put them all three together, and I would say maybe 20% difference. A couple of words here and there, grammatically, or just a couple of letters within one word. Excuse me. That's important.
Serbian and Bosnian. They even put warning signs in all three languages on cigarette packs. So
it's like, look at this, man. Look how this is one language, this is another language, and this is the third language. Now look at the second and the third. Literally the same, but they had to put it as three, okay?
So essentially it's like this. Hi, I'm speaking American. Hello, I'm speaking British. Hi, I'm speaking Irish. You know, you guys all pretty much understand each other and you're all kind of like saying the same thing. Aren't you all speaking the same? No! Now here's where things get really confusing. Bosnia and Herzegovina has a bicameral legislature that includes a 3-member presidency.
Oh, this is the hard part. You guys, we have 3 presidents, but it doesn't end there.
One for each of the people groups. The Serbs, the Croatians, and the Bosnians. That's right. The country has 3 presidents. You don't see anything like this anywhere else in the world. However, the state government is highly decentralized, and a lot of the legislation just goes to the respective entities. Culturally, this place sticks out. As a former part of the Ottoman Empire, Islam spread to the nation, and today is still part of the religious majority. Muslims make up about 45% of the population, most of whom are non-denominational Muslim. About 36% are Serb Orthodox Christian, 15% Catholic, mostly from the Croats. It's kind of strange because Bosnia is one of the few places in the world where you can find the whitest Muslims you will ever see in your life. It's funny though because for a long time Bosnia and Herzegovina was also under the Austro-Hungarian Empire, so you kind of get this weird European Muslim Eastern mix in terms of culture. It's also kind of known as the place where World War I started. Remember Archduke Franz Ferdinand? Yeah, that's kind of how the country interacts.
Yeah, the assassination of Ferdinand is how World War I started, and it was in Bosnia. And also, fun fact, because of Austro-Hungarian as well as the Ottoman Empire having a huge impact, especially in Sarajevo, which is the capital. Fun fact, if you're walking through the city, it's literally, there is no degree of division. It is literally a straight cut on the street where the Austro-Hungarian part of architecture stops and the Ottoman Empire period starts. So if you're walking in the middle of the city, there will be like one line and a circle, and it would tell you if you continue going further, this is the Ottoman area, and if you go backwards, is the Austro-Hungarian. And if you look at one way, you see all these huge buildings with the Baroque style of architecture, and then you turn around and you see the Ottoman style with a lot of wood and a lot of cubes and stuff, you know, like it's so cool. That is the coolest part about it.
With itself. Now, how does it interact with the outsiders? Now, this is where things get very politically divisive because the country has a very deep history in alliances and enemies. Without getting into too much detail, essentially in the 90s, the country was in a straight up war internally.
I was 1 year old, but I wasn't living in Bosnia when the war was. I was living in Jordan.
After the Dayton Agreement was signed, the country cooled off, kind of, and the people agreed to calm down a bit and stop killing each other and make a new country that had a full sovereign status as one, but with divided regions that were somewhat segregated. Did you get that? This was the best they could do, and I mean, honestly, with a country with that much internal animosity, it worked kind of well. It's like, look, we all hate each other, and we still do, but things have gotten a little too crazy, so let's just agree to stop all the chaos and hate each other in a distant yet constructive way so that our country can still make money and not get ridiculed by everyone else outside. Deal? Deal. In terms of outside friends, Bulgaria was the first country to recognize Bosnia and Herzegovina's sovereignty and immediately stepped in with bilateral relations, and the two get along just fine today. Surprisingly, Malaysia is also a huge supporter of the country, and during the war became the only country in Asia to accept Bosnian refugees. To this day, many Bosnian students study abroad and live in Malaysia. Now, when it comes to best friends, it really depends on who you ask in the country. Of course, the Croats will tell you Croatia, the Bosnians will most likely say Turkey, and the Serbs will say Serbia. In a weird way, though, the division of peoples kind of inadvertently increases the diplomatic relations that the country as a whole has access to. For example, Bosnians may not like the Russians, but the Serbs in Bosnia and Herzegovina do. Therefore, the country as a whole benefits from the relations that one people group engage
So complicated, man. I'm losing him.
in, regardless of how the second feels. Isn't that weird? It's like, the friend of my enemy is by default my friend too. Welcome to Bosnia and Herzegovina. Many Bosnians have actually tried to contend for a unified central government all under one legislation. However, the Republic of Srpska is fiercely opposed.
This is our biggest problem is with the Republic of Srpska, and I have to say that, like, I live in the Federation and I know exactly what's going on. I used to live. The Republic of Serbia, people who I don't know if the people, but I would say the president and the governmental representatives, they don't want to acknowledge Republic of Serbia as part of Bosnia. You know, they want it to be more of a part of Serbia. They want to end what they started with war. They want to separate that and make it a part of Serbia, which Bosnians, of course, are not going to allow. It's a part of Bosnia and you live in Bosnia and you should work on improving Bosnia, and everything that you work towards, your taxes, this and that, needs to go to Bosnia, not to Serbia. Instead, what they do a lot of times is take and give. You know, they're like literally in between, but they don't want to admit it, and they never really work on improving the country. They only try to make it harder for people, whether people in Republic of Serbia or in the Federation, to live in. And that's why there is a lot of tension today, and that's why even when the war in Ukraine started, a lot of tanks were provided from Putin to the government in Republic of Serbia, and a lot of these tanks were already settled in Bosnia and Herzegovina on the borders, just in case. So I'm telling you, I used to live in a country where the war never practically ended 100%. It was just prolonged, and it's just waiting to happen again. It is literally just waiting for them to separate Republic from Federation, make it a part of Serbia, and give us this teeny tiny piece of the country that is left. That's a problem. And we just want one representative. We just want one president. We don't need 3 presidents. One president that will work on improving the whole of the country, you know, for the whole Bosnia and Herzegovina, not just one part, everything. Why is that so hard to ask? It is almost impossible, because if you vote for a president and you make a decision, all 3 presidents need to agree. If one disagrees, none of the legislation is gonna go forward, you know? If one president doesn't agree with the rest, nothing can be changed. And that's why the state of Bosnia and Herzegovina has been the same since 1995. Literally nothing is changing. It's always the same thing. And even the presidents are almost always the same. Like, I can't, man. It will take my whole life and maybe 2 more generations for things to change in this country.
Opposed to this. They only kind of reluctantly agreed to be under Bosnian and Herzegovinian sovereignty just by a few strands of hair, and they've even threatened that if Kosovo gains complete independence, they will have no problem annexing themselves back to Serbia, which would make Serbia look like this. In conclusion, Bosnia and Herzegovina is like the Belgium of the Balkans, but with stranger conflicts, quieter controlled anger, slightly dysfunctional politics, but with a pinch of sarcasm and dry humor that gives the country its spicy appeal. Stay tuned. Botswana is coming up next.
Botswana. Botswana. I didn't even know that's a place. Okay, there we go. That's my country, guys. If you come from Bosnia and Herzegovina, if you agree, disagree, let me know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube, and like for more content like this. Thank you for watching here as well.